4 felony charges, 3 injured officers, bail posted. A court date set for September 15th. The viral moment is now a legal case. Lil Nas X's late-night incident in Los Angeles is no longer just a strange headline. Prosecutors have confirmed 4 felony charges, 3 for battery with injury on police officers, and 1 for resisting an executive officer. These are not misdemeanors. They carry a maximum penalty of 5 years in prison. After pleading not guilty, he was released on $75,000 bail under strict conditions. He must attend Narcotics Anonymous meetings, stay off illegal drugs, and enter an outpatient rehabilitation program. These requirements make clear that this is both a legal battle and a recovery process. For the first time since his arrest, Lil Nas X spoke publicly, calling the experience terrifying, but assuring fans he will be okay. His father added that he is remorseful and in good spirits, underscoring the human cost behind the headlines. With the next court hearing scheduled for September 15th, this story has shifted. What began as a viral clip is now a legal process with serious consequences. When the first report surfaced, many believed Lil Nas X would face misdemeanor charges. That has changed. Prosecutors have officially filed 4 felony counts. 3 officers sustained injuries during the confrontation, and the 4th charge reflects resisting an executive officer. This distinction matters. A misdemeanor could have meant probation or community service. Felonies mean real prison time. The maximum penalty if convicted is 5 years in state prison. The Los Angeles District Attorney released a statement condemning the assault, emphasizing that attacks on police officers are a public safety issue that cannot be minimized. The seriousness of these charges also alters the narrative. What was once viewed as an embarrassing meltdown now carries the weight of criminal accountability. This isn't a matter of posting bail and moving on. It's a legal battle that will unfold over months. For Lil Nas X, the escalation changes everything. His career, reputation, and even his personal freedom are at stake in a way they weren't when the word misdemeanor was still in play. This is no longer about a bizarre street scene. It's a felony case with consequences that extend far beyond social media. Initial speculation suggested he would spend the weekend in custody. In reality, he was able to secure release by posting $75,000 bail after entering a not guilty plea. But freedom came with conditions. The court ordered him to avoid all illegal drugs, attend Narcotics Anonymous meetings, and begin treatment through an outpatient rehabilitation program. These requirements highlight 2 parts of the case: punishment for alleged violence and recognition of underlying struggles. Health has been a visible theme for Lil Nas X. Earlier this year, he disclosed a scare involving partial facial paralysis, and he has spoken about the toll recent years have taken on his mental health. The suspected overdose the night of his arrest adds another layer. The court's conditions seem designed to push him toward recovery while ensuring accountability. This balance is now the framework of his release. On one side, a felony case that could mean years of incarceration. On the other, mandated steps toward rehabilitation. How well he complies with these conditions will likely play a role in the outcome, both legally and in public opinion. The viral footage remains central to the story. 2 separate clips captured different phases of the night. In the first, Lil Nas X appeared in underwear and cowboy boots, rapping in the street. Later, he was seen fully nude, placing a cone on his head and stumbling into traffic. These videos have been replayed countless times online, but now they take on a different role. Prosecutors use them to show a pattern of escalation, leading up to the moment where 3 officers were injured during his apprehension. What seemed like a spectacle on social media is evidence in a courtroom. The clips also add context for the defense. His erratic behavior, combined with the hospital stop for a suspected overdose, can be framed as a medical and emotional crisis rather than deliberate aggression. That perspective aligns with the court's decision to impose treatment conditions as part of his release. The difference between meme and evidence is stark. For viewers, the footage may still look like a shocking performance. For prosecutors and defense attorneys, it has become a timeline of behavior that supports their respective cases. For days, silence left room for speculation. But after his release, Lil Nas X finally broke that silence. On Instagram, he called the arrest terrifying and told fans he was gonna be okay. The statement was brief, but it mattered. It wasn't polished PR, it was direct, emotional, and raw. Fans responded instantly, many relieved to hear his voice after days of uncertainty. It was the first time he directly addressed the event. His father also stepped forward, saying his son was remorseful, stable, and committed to recovery. That additional layer of family support gave the statement more weight, reminding people that behind the fame is someone with parents, loved ones, and people deeply invested in his well-being. Together, these comments shifted the focus. The story moved from being entirely about legal charges to including the emotional reality of someone publicly admitting fear. Public reaction has adjusted. Early responses were split between jokes and concern. Now, with confirmation of felonies and his own words, there is more gravity. Supporters point to his health challenges as a reason for compassion, noting his history of partial facial paralysis and recent admissions about mental health struggles. Critics emphasize the seriousness of injuring officers, arguing that no level of fame excuses violence. This dual response reflects the complexity of the situation. It is not just a celebrity scandal, it is a human story layered with crisis, accountability, and recovery. His decision to speak may be the first step in reshaping how this moment defines him, but only consistent action will decide whether his words mark a turning point or fade into a brief headline. In the days that followed, posts from friends and collaborators echoed that tone, urging patience and privacy while the legal process plays out. Advocacy voices in the industry also used the moment to push for better access to mental health resources for touring artists, citing the pressures of exposure, schedule instability, and substance risk. That conversation does not absolve harm, but it adds needed context. Fame can magnify both breakdowns and attempts at repair. The next significant step is his September 15th pretrial hearing. At that appearance, lawyers will argue motions, and the court will decide how the case proceeds. Prosecutors have already signaled they intend to pursue the charges firmly. The DA's statement leaves little doubt that they view this as more than a celebrity misstep. It's an attack on officers that they believe cannot be downplayed. For the defense, the path forward will likely emphasize his clean record, his recent health scares, and the medical context of the arrest. They may argue that treatment and structured recovery are more appropriate than prison. Defense attorneys could also point to the court's own conditions, mandatory rehab, and NA meetings as proof that the justice system recognizes this as more than just a criminal case. That argument could shape negotiations for a plea bargain or alternative sentencing. The outcome could vary widely: probation with treatment, a plea deal with supervision, or in the worst case, felony convictions and years in custody. Much depends on compliance with bail conditions in the weeks ahead. Any slip, missed meetings, drug violations, or further erratic behavior could undermine his defense and strengthen the prosecution's case. For now, the story remains open. Lil Nas X is free but bound by court orders, balancing recovery with preparation for trial. His future, musical, personal, and legal, will hinge on how he handles this moment between viral spectacle and courtroom reality. Every step between now and September 15th will be critical, not just for the case, but for the public narrative that surrounds him. Between now and that date, routine steps will matter. Discovery exchanges, potential requests for a protective order, and scheduling of evaluations tied to his treatment plan. If the court sees sustained compliance and progress notes from providers, it could influence the tone of talks. Conversely, if prosecutors obtain additional body cam angles or medical records that contradict the defense narrative, leverage shifts. In pretrial cases like this, momentum is built in small, documented increments. The viral images were only the beginning. The charges now stand as 4 felonies, not misdemeanors. 3 injured officers, a 5-year maximum sentence, and strict bail conditions place Lil Nas X at a turning point. He has spoken, calling the ordeal terrifying but promising he will be okay. His father has spoken, stressing remorse and recovery. The DA has spoken, framing this as a matter of public safety. And the court has spoken, requiring treatment and setting a September 15th hearing. What began as shocking footage is now a test of accountability and resilience. The coming weeks will determine whether this case becomes the start of genuine recovery or a slide into lasting consequences. Either way, the story has moved beyond memes. It is a fight for stability, responsibility, and the future of a global star.